Okay, hello. Today is November 11th, so it's Veterans Day. I didn't have to work today. I had the day off because of the federal holiday. And my intentions were to get up this morning, work for 20 minutes or 30 minutes in the eBay shop, and then work for 20 or 30 minutes on housework and just go back and forth like that for the entire day. I was going to set a timer and just keep myself on task and get a ton of work done. What I did instead was I slept until 10:30 or 11. I got up and watched TV for 2 hours. Then I went to get myself some lunch. I did go to the thrift store and I filmed that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that footage right now. It's sort of out of my planned YouTube release schedule, so I don't know what I'll do with that. But it's there, it exists. And then when I got home, I watched TV for about another 2 hours. Then I came down here to work and I did get quite a lot of photos done. I probably finished up 20 or 21 listings that I had the drafts. The drafts all started and I just had to take photos and get those things listed. So quite a lot of new stuff hit my shop. So that's gonna be good, I think. I do have 5 orders to pack tonight. That's for yesterday and today, so not a great sales week so far right now. But I wanted to tell you about, if you've been watching, if you've been following along, maybe 2 weeks ago, I had a pair of empty envelope return scams. So this is when somebody buys something from you, they request a return, you send a return label, and then they use that label to just send back an empty envelope instead of returning the item. And the tracking, the USPS tracking shows that the item was delivered. So eBay thinks it was delivered and they expect you to pay for that, to give that refund because the item had been returned. So in this case, I'm pretty sure it was the same buyer using 2 different accounts. He did this to me basically 2 days in a row. He bought the same thing. It's a bottle of, what's it called? Loctite. This, Loctite. I'm not going to tell you what Loctite is, but he bought that. It's like $55, $58 and requested a return. In both cases, he said the item, the Loctite seemed like it was watered down. So that's what made me think it was the same person because they both of these returns used the exact same language and the reason why they were going to return it. And then when I was watching the tracking of the return label, I could see that it was going, even though they had different addresses on their accounts in different parts of the country, the return shipping was coming from the same USPS hubs. I could see it go from one hub in like Texas, and then all along the way they were coming from the same area, even though neither one of them was in Texas. Neither one of them was even close to Texas. The address on file. So I reached out to eBay about it. They took care of it, no problem. I showed them a picture. Here's the empty envelope, and in one of those cases, they sided in my favor and they removed that buyer's account. They deleted that account and didn't give him a refund. In the other case, I guess there wasn't enough evidence, so they still sided in my favor, so I got to keep my money, but they also refunded that buyer. So this person at this point has only paid for one of these Loctites. They got the other one for free because eBay reimbursed them. That's eBay's prerogative. They do that sometimes when they don't have they can't tell what's going on one way or the other. They can't adjudicate these cases, and so they'll just choose to refund the buyer out of their own pocket, and then I stay whole. That buyer gets their money back. So I thought it was all over, but then I got a message yesterday from eBay, and I'm gonna read it to you. You may have seen a message like this before. Let's see. Payment dispute filed. So here it goes. Hello, Christopher. That's me. Your buyer filed a payment dispute for an order placed on October 11th. This means that they disputed a charge directly with their payment institution. They are requesting $57.81 back, and the reason for this dispute is that the item didn't match the description in your listing. So then it gives me the option to respond to the dispute. And it really doesn't give me too many options. It just lets me say, basically like, I agree, give them their money back, or I want to challenge this dispute. And then eBay will handle the rest of it and on my behalf, apparently. So they asked me for some information. it's all information they have already, because this has already been a case and they have already sided in my favor. So they shouldn't really involve me at all, but they did. So all I really offered them was the same thing that I offered in the first instance, the return scam complaint. I said the buyer requested a refund. I paid for a shipping label. The label was used to ship back an empty envelope. And then I gave them the same pictures that I gave them from the first time around, the pictures of the envelope. And then I also did a screenshot of the eBay case where it says it was decided in my favor. So as soon as I got done doing all that, I got, eBay gives me another message. It's kind of in the ether now. It's disappeared once I hit submit. But it basically said, thank you for submitting this information. Please be aware that because of eBay buyer protections, you will not be expected to refund this money. But I don't want that person to get that money back. This is a bad, I mean, it's a crime. A lot of people in the past suggested that I should be, filing police reports. And they told me I should file a police report here in my city, file a police report in the cities where the buyer's address was, file a report with the Postmaster General, and somebody even suggested that I call the FBI. So, I mean, this is $57.81. What's the FBI going to do about this? But, I mean, I get it. This guy is probably doing this a lot. And if I file a case, maybe they would be able to stop him from doing it to other people. But I'm not interested in doing all that work. I mean, filing a police report can take hours. I'm not going to do that over a $57 crime. So right now, there's nothing that I can do. I have given them all the information that I have, and I trust that eBay will not take my $57 away from me. But this is something to be on the lookout for. Just because you think a scam is over doesn't mean it is. So this guy is very possibly going to get the money back from eBay. So we'll see. That's it. That's that story. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this, and I'll give you an update when I find out for myself what's happening. Okay, I have 3 things I'm going to show you. This is almost the last things from my shopping trip last weekend. You would have seen a video from that 2 or 3 days ago. Go back and watch that if you don't. It's like a six store marathon shopping trip where I went to 6 different thrift stores looking for eBay inventory. And it's not I didn't get the best inventory ever, but I did get some stuff. And so I'm going to show you almost the last 3 things from that trip. And then I told you already, I did go out shopping today. So that stuff's still in the car. So maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, who knows? I have very few drafts ready to go right now. I usually get to be about 25 or 30 of them, and then I start taking pictures, and I think I'm down to 5 right now. These 3 I'm about to show you. This walkie-talkie, geez, it's not a walkie-talkie, it's a CB. So I showed you this the other day. I put batteries in it today. It doesn't seem to work, but I'm not sure if the batteries are good. So this one's going to take a little bit more testing. And then I have a big pile of suitcases over here that are, I needed to clean them, so I got them all cleaned and ready to go. And I wanted to take them outside to take pictures and get these listed, but it snowed the other day, so I can't do that until the snow melts. Or I hear it's going to be 60 degrees in just 2 or 3 days. So that snow should be all gone by Friday, and I'll be able to take these things outside. They're too big for my photo booth, and there's really no other place inside here where I can take pictures. Okay, I've been just rambling, so that's enough. That's almost 8 minutes of just jibber jabbing. So I'm going to show you these 3 items, and then we're going to go into the other room, the packing bench, and get the 5 orders ready to go out tonight. So here we go. All right, so you were with me riding along, if you watched that video, when I bought these items. All of these came from 2 different Goodwills on that marathon shopping trip. So this was just in a bag like this. All this little doll clothing, and it was almost all Build-A-Bear brand stuff. This thing is not Build-A-Bear, but I'm going to keep it in there anyway. It could be, it just doesn't have the label on it. I don't really know how that works. But there's just like 6 pieces of clothing. I paid $3-ish. I think it was $2.99. Yeah, here's still the sticker, $2.99. So let's say $3.30 after tax for these pieces of clothing. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be worth, because most of the people that are selling these Build-A-Bear lots are selling either like, 100 pieces of clothes or like complete outfits. And I have almost complete outfits, but not totally complete. So I have this, which is um, Toy Story Woody, Sheriff Woody um, outfit. It's the pants and the shirt. There's supposed to be a cowboy hat, of course, and that is not here. I don't have that. So that's going to, if I had the hat, I would sell these. I would sell this on its own, and it probably could get $26 or something like that. As it is, I don't know what this is worth without the hat. I'm just going to list all this together in one lot and see if somebody will buy it. So here's a little baseball glove. It says BAB right on it for Build-A-Bear, so we know that's the real thing. And here's a pair of pants. These look like what would you call it? Like an adventurer, like some kind of an explorer. I don't know. Khaki pants. They look like shorts, but I guess those bears have short legs. And then a pair of overalls, as unfortunately they only have one strap with them, so the other strap is missing. I don't know if that's going to be too big of a problem. And then I think this is the coolest one, the coolest piece. This is a sweater. I think it's supposed to be like a parody of the Ralph Lauren sweater. That's my guess. So I got all these 6 pieces of clothing, and I'm going to list it for like $27. I paid $3 for it. See if we can get 27 for it. I'd be happy to take less if I have to. Yesterday, I think I showed you some, what is it called? They were like Boyd's Bears spin-off. Was it called JB Bean and Associates? It was 2 bears and a cat. All of those were stuffed into a plastic bag, just like that Ziploc one. And this bear was in there as well. He unfortunately doesn't really have a brand name. There's a tag on here that says Creative Marketing Corporation or something like that, CMC. So I looked that up. Excuse me. I looked that up, and some people are trying to sell him for like $15, but there's no sales history on this. I don't know what Habersham is. He still has his price tag, and it says Habersham. I think that's probably a store. So I created a listing, and I put Habersham in the listing title just in case somebody is searching for that. Maybe it's like a general store, or it's probably like a greeting card store. That's my guess. I don't know though. I think those other ones might have had Habersham stickers on them too. Anyway, this says $26.95, and I think it's probably I think it's pretty old. The other bears that were in that bag were from the 80s, so this guy could be from the 80s too. I don't really know. Anyway, I'm only going to list them for $9.99 and just kind of cross my fingers that somebody will buy it, because like I said, there's no sales history of that bear. And then this thing I found kind of at the last minute at the Goodwill. It's Girders and Panel Action Building Set. This is a bridge and skyscraper kit, and it's made by Kenner. So this would be the same Kenner that made the Star Wars toys, the original Star Wars series. And I paid $4, either $2.99 or $3.99 for this. And it's jam-packed with these pieces. It's like sort of a Erector set, kind of a ripoff, but all plastic and not as cool as a Erector set, I would say. If this is complete and I know all the pieces are here, it's worth about $100. Looking at what it shows here on the pictures, there's supposed to be a working elevator. I didn't see anything the color yellow in any of these bags, so I don't think this is complete. But it's so jam-packed. I suspect that there's more than one set here, because they made a bunch of different ones. Like there's a highway one, there's a skyscraper in highway one, there's a bridge in highway one. There's a bunch of different sets from what I can tell. And this one, I don't know if it's a rare or not, but it doesn't have the same number of listings as the other ones. I think there's only one. I don't think there's any that are this variety, bridge and skyscraper, that are currently listed, and I think there's only 2 that sold in the last year. One of them for $100, and then I think one was an auction that only got one bid on it for like $25. So I think it's worth $100. Look, I can still see there's a little piece of wrapping paper on here. So this was somebody's Christmas gift, and now I'm tearing the box. Oh well, let's get this off. This was probably a Christmas gift based on the red coloring. Probably not a birthday present. Anyway, it says contains over 800 pieces, and it does not have the full color planning book. So there's no way for me to know how many pieces or like what pieces are supposed to be here. And I have no interest in counting all those pieces. So like I said, if all the pieces were there, maybe $100. I'm going to list it for like 50, and I'm going to write in the description exactly what I said to you. I don't see any evidence of an elevator, so it's probably not complete. However, the box is bulging, so I think it may be 2 sets combined together. So there's probably more than 800 pieces in there. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to take photos of these 3 things I just showed you, and then I only have 2 listings that are just waiting for photographs. And I have a strong suspicion that this CB is just going to be broken and it's going to end up in the garbage, or I don't know if I can sell it for parts. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll give it a try, but I don't suspect there's going to be anybody chomping at the bit to get that, to repair it. And then these, this whole set of vintage suitcases here have been sitting here for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And then I have to just start listing, get more listings going. So I'll be diving into the death pile closet. I have a bunch of dishes over there that a whole set of dishes. I got the whole set for, was it $2? It was 2 cents a piece. So however many pieces there were, I think I paid $2 for the whole set. Yeah, that's right. And I guess that's it. I'll just be having to get some more work done before I can get more listings together. So let's go to the kitchen and get today's orders packed, and then we'll just be thinking about what else we can list tomorrow. Okay, so the post office was closed today because of Veterans Day, so I didn't pack anything last night. And there really were only 3 orders last night, and they didn't add up to a whole lot. And then only 2 today. They didn't add up to that much either. So let's just get them packed and get this show over with. So, all right, first thing I have is this pair of Brooks shoes, running shoes. I got these, I paid kind of a lot for these, $27.50-ish for them, $27.56. I don't know why I paid so much for them, but they're not really that old. I've only had them for like since mid-September. They're nice. I mean, I wouldn't have bought them if they weren't in nice condition. But I had them listed for $90, and then right now I have all clothing in my store on sale for 15% off. And somebody sent me an offer of $69, and I didn't really want to take it. I don't like to consider offers when items are already on sale, especially when they've only been listed for basically a month and a half. But I went back and forth. But in the end, I took the offer, $69. It seemed like we're probably going to make like $30, maybe less than that on these. It's better to have that money now than maybe to have 60 a year from now if it takes that long for these shoes to sell. So I don't know. Maybe it was a bad decision, but they're going to be gone and somebody's going to enjoy those shoes, I hope. Okay, next thing up is a vintage model rocket catalog. This is from 1980. And I got a bunch of this kind of thing, like ephemera from a guy on Craigslist a little while ago. He's a real nice guy, like a guy about my age, a guy that had like, similar interests to me. And I went to his house several times. He's selling stuff on Craigslist. And after the 3rd or 4th time, like he knew I was buying this stuff to resell it. I'm not trying to keep that a secret from anybody. And I was telling him, like, I don't know, man. You probably could make a lot more money by doing this on eBay. And he sold me this vintage Smashing Pumpkins poster from like 1990, like a hand screen printed poster before they even had a big hit or anything. But he gave it to me for like $12, and I think I sold it for like $300. And I felt a little bit bad about it because he like had saved that. Like he took that off the wall at some concert somewhere, and he saved it all those years and then sold it for $12 after 35 years or whatever. So I felt a little bad about it. And the other stuff he was selling me was similar type stuff, and I was trying to help him out, tell him like, you got to list this stuff on eBay, you got to learn about shipping. And he was like, I just like doing it the old-fashioned way. Do it on Craigslist, meet people, they give me cash. It's like, okay, well, you do what you got to do. And I bought tons of stuff from him. I gave him a good amount of money, but nowhere near what this stuff is worth. And it's all stuff like this, which is like, it's very rare, but there's not a ton of people who want it. but the people who do want it will pay for it. So I have some like vintage guitar magazines, some, I don't know, I got a bunch of stuff from him that's, I haven't sold a lot of it. I mean, I'm just sitting on it waiting for the right person to come along. And I trust that they will sooner or later. Anyway, this rocket catalog, according to me, I paid $1.67 on it. So I just took everything that I bought from him and averaged out the cost of it. I'm going to put this other piece of cardboard on here. Maybe not necessary, but this is my old cross corrugation trick for flat packing. So the corrugation on this sheet that I put the these two sheets I put the catalog in goes this way. Corrugation on this piece goes this way. So it's going to stiffen this package up and make it harder to bend. And it's not that, this isn't that likely to bend because it's kind of small, but it's not going to hurt anything. It's going to be like 8 ounces instead of 6 ounces. Cost a tiny bit more in the shipping. It's 7 ounces instead of 6. So it will cost more. I think the breaking point is at 6. I think it's at 4 and 8. So maybe it won't. I don't know. Anyway, this thing is 12 by 9 by 1. And it's going to WB in PA. I'm a little worried about this because somebody sent me a message about this catalog about a week ago asking, like, is it in perfect display condition? Meaning, does it have no creases, no tears, no, they like went on. And I was like, oh, this is a person that's going to cause me problems. I don't really want to sell it to them. So I did not respond to that message. And then it sold a little while later. And I suspect it's probably the same buyer because this thing hasn't gotten a lot of interest in it in the last, well, how long? I listed this in January of this year. So in the last 11 months, haven't had that much interest. All of a sudden I get 2 people, like one person asking me questions about it, one person actually buying it. It's probably the same guy. All right, this next thing is a Korg. I never heard of this show, Korg. It's something like, what's this called? 70,000 BC. 1975, Hanna-Barbera. So this would have been a cartoon on in the 70s. And this would have been right up my alley. Like, I was born in 74. So if they were showing reruns of that, I would have seen those. I certainly saw Space Ghost and the Herculoids and those kind of shows, which seem like they would have been in the same kind of a vein as this. Anyway, I never heard of that show until I bought this little thermos. And I got this at a garage sale in when? The end of September, so it's been listed for about a month and a half or 2 months. And I paid $5 for it, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, $5 even I paid for it. And I sold it for $26 plus shipping. So that's not a bad return on investment, but I like a little bit better than that. I would rather have bought it for $5 and sold it for $50. That's what I'm usually shooting for, 10 times my investment, but can't go wrong with 5 times really. So it's gonna be fine. I'm a little surprised it sold so quickly because there were a number of these listed on eBay, and some of them in better condition than this one, and for basically the same price. So I really was a little bit shocked yesterday or this morning when this sale came in. 12 ounces. This box is 9 by 5, 9 by 6. What is this? Probably 10 by 6 by 6. 10 by 6 by 6. And who's it going to? JCO. Oh, just here in Illinois. JCONIL in Aurora. That's pretty close. So this won't take long to get there, and there should be no problems in that shipping because it's so close. All right, next up, I'm not going to take this out of the package, but it's Looney Tunes sweatshirt, Tweety Bird. This is Dr. Tweety Bird. He's going to be looking at your ingrown toenail today. Anyway, Looney Tunes Tweety Bird sweatshirt, the men's size medium. I think this is from Universal Studios. It's brand new, still has the tags on it. Size medium's not the most attractive size for most buyers, but it did sell relatively quickly. This I bought in June in the summer at a garage sale. I paid $2 for it and I sold it for $34 plus shipping. I don't know if it's going to fit in this box, but I'm going to try to get it in there. This could definitely go in an envelope, but I don't think it's going to be any more expensive to put it in this box. There, it fits in there. Tweety, this is 1 pound, 10 by 7 by 3, and it's going to, man, this guy's got a lot of names. OJMA in Pennsylvania. I put the buyer's initials and I put the state on there. So when I print the shipping labels later, I'll be able to match them up with the right box. And then also after I print those labels, I'll know exactly what kind of profit we made on each of these items. So stick around to the end. I'm going to go over that. And it's not going to be the most exciting sales day. We're going to be like maybe $90 yesterday and maybe $60 today, maybe less than that even. Maybe $60 yesterday and $40 today. So I think it's been a bad sales week. I think this is going to turn out to be a bad week entirely. This is a t-shirt. It's Tom of Finland, a vodka brand shirt. And I don't know the exact connection, but there's also Tom of Finland that's is like a gay interest brand of some kind. It might be the same brand. I really don't know that much about it, but there's some shirts that are just black with white print. They say Tom of Finland. And there's others that have like men in like bondage gear that they look the same, black with white print. They look very similar, and they say Tom of Finland in the same font. So I don't know what the connection is between those, but I bought this vodka one assuming that it would be of interest to somebody in the LGBTQ community. And there were a couple of these listed, or very few sold, a couple of these listed. So I didn't know if it was ever going to sell or not. I only paid 41 cents for it. This came from my lunch break thrift store, as well as something else earlier, the shoes. And I had it listed for $16.99. And somebody sent me an offer of $13.78. So I was suspecting this was going to go through eBay International Shipping, that somebody sent that's unusual number, because it was a currency, what do you call it, conversion. But they just sent an offer for $13.78. So I don't know why somebody would do that, but I guess they might. Sometimes I send weird offers like that thinking that maybe the buyer will think I've really thought this price through and I really need to get $13.78 to make a profit on it, and they'll just accept it without counter offering. I don't know if there's any like psychological reality to that, but that's one of my tricks I do sometimes. So maybe that's exactly what they were doing. This is going to JP in Massachusetts. Okay, that's all the packages. So we're gonna go over to the computer, buy labels, and then I'll come right back and tell you the breakdown of how much money each of these items made. These 5 packages all have labels. They're all ready to go. They're all going to USPS. So I already have put in a request for pickup. So I'll just put these on the porch tomorrow morning and hopefully they'll come to get them. My carrier is on vacation, or at least she's away. I'm not sure what's going on. And I haven't had the best luck with the replacements. Yesterday, I came home from work and I had, the post office closes at 6:30. So I got here about 6 and I had to rush to get the packages off the porch, get them to the post office in time because nobody came to pick them up. And then I heard a carrier come and put mail in my mailbox around like 7:15 or something. So I guess they're overloaded. They're probably doing the work of 2 people. And I don't really, I'm not holding a grudge, but I have to get these packages out. So either they do it or I do it. I don't want to have to do it, but if they aren't going to do it, then I'll do it. Okay, here we go. Yesterday, we sold 3 items. The Brooks running shoes, and after fees and everything, they brought in $33.30. I was estimating 30, so not too far off. The Flying Model Rocket catalog from 1980 sold for $24.32. And that vintage thermos Korg 70,000 BC from 1975 it brought in $18.32. So the total profit yesterday was only $75.94. So I need my profit to be over $200 on average for the rest of the year if I'm going to reach my goal. I have a goal where I'm trying to get $50,000 in profit this year. At one point, I did a prediction of how much I might actually make, and I came up with $45,360. I don't remember how I did it, but I did some math, and this is the number that I came up with. So If we hit that, I'll be happy, but I really, really want to get 50 grand. So we need to be selling more. Like $75 days aren't going to cut it. We need $203 days, or like ideally more. Okay, then today, just the two sales, the Looney Tunes shirt, Dr. Tweety Bird, and Tom of Finland. So the Tweety Bird shirt brought in $28.20. The other Tom of Finland shirt, $10.95. So the total profit today is only $39.15. So under $40, definitely not going to cut it. We need to get more sales, and we need to get them pretty quick because it's already November 11th, and the average profit per day in so far in the month of November is $167.90. So about 168 bucks. We need it to be 203. So I need to just have like one huge day or a whole string of $220 days in order to get this average to go up. So that's it for tonight. Stick with me for the rest of the year and see if we can get to this $50,000 goal. I'd love to have you with me, so hit the subscribe button. And well, I'm making a video every single day of the week, so hopefully you'll come along on this journey and you'll see if we get there or not. So, all right, that's it. Thanks. Bye.